is it's 3 to 4 main points, no more than 4. You should be really looking roughly about 2 to 3 actually. What they are is basically, it should be formatted in such a way where each argument you have leads into the next one. So you've got 3 points, they essentially flow together. They're like 3 things which are basically joined at the hip but not quite the same. What that means is you've got an argument that flows from one point to the next and it doesn't seem like you're just making this big massive jump. Now obviously it needs to also start with your most dominant point. Don't be one of those people who thinks that it must have a big surprise ending. It's not a narrative. So when you're writing an essay, you need to start with your big guns. You need to start with the best possible reason you can think of. That takes a bit of planning. You can't think of it halfway through. You need to think about it from the very beginning, because your markers aren't going to wait until halfway through to find your best point. They're going to want it at the beginning. They want to see that you know exactly where it is that you're focusing on. And if you're doing it towards the end, they may have given up hope by then. And even if they get it, it might rescue your marks a little bit, but they're still going to have that sour taste in it. The other thing is having 6 or 7 points, and this is something that's quite common, that a student will write 3 or 4 of their main points, and then they'll realize that they got 500 words of their limit to go, and go, what do I do now? And then they'll think of all these other ideas which they discarded before and say, oh, let's just chuck it in. They're not going to care by this point anyway. Your markers do care. And when they see these 6 or 7 extra points, which aren't really needed, what happens is they'll go, oh, what are you doing that for? Why couldn't you put more effort into your main arguments? And generally, if you've got even something that's 2,000 words long, if you've got 6 or 7 main points, that means you haven't developed your 3 points enough. Now, even though that might make your main points about 600 words each, it's something you still need to do. You need to practice elaborating on those, discussing them, talking about them a little bit more. Doing so in such a way where you are really developing them. Even someone who is doing a thesis or something along those lines will really focus on a couple of very key ideas. We'll just expand on them in a huge way and give subcategories and categories which all relate to that one big idea. They don't necessarily have to come up with a whole heap of other different ideas. They come up with one idea and then they research the living daylights out of it. They find out everything they can about it. And that's what you should be doing as well.